Hello everyone and welcome to February's installment for the 365 Days of Weather project that I'm collaborating with my friend Julie in Canada. This video is a little bit later than expected. I had the opportunity to go away at the end of February and early March, and I've only really just got back and am able to put my pages together to show everybody what we've been doing. So I've held poor Julie up with getting this all out, as we were hoping to bring these to you earlier each month. But I couldn't pass up on a beach holiday that I've been trying to get to for quite some time. So I at least have some lovely summer photos to share for the end of February and now also for my March pages. We have been chatting quite a bit about the colours that we were using, and she decided that it would be good to expand them a little bit because I don't have the variations in temperature like she experiences in Canada. I will probably hit between around this area or maybe just this area here. So she very kindly went ahead and worked on our colour chart and added in an additional colour or two, and also worked out the light side and the dark side so I would have more colour tones to work with on my pages. If you've already watched our January videos, you'll realise that we are working off a page layout sketch. Julie designed the layout for January and I've designed the one for February. And you may also be aware that these are available in Design Space. Now, I was hoping to show you the Cricut app on my iPad, but I can't get it to update and I can't load it up. So I've had to take some screenshots of my computer. I'm not quite sure why I can't get the update to work, but for the purpose of this video, I'm hoping that this will pick up. When you look at the Design Space file, we do have the color chart with the colors. We've got Celsius and now we've got Fahrenheit as well. Julie's done a lot of hard work to update the color chart to represent both Celsius and Fahrenheit. You can see when you open up the Design Space file, the color chart is here. So that means that when you're picking the colors to fill the layouts, the colors are already in there. So you don't have to work that out yourself. Because this color chart is here, you'll be able to just use the colors used and fill the shapes as per what your temperatures are and what colors you want. When you go to create the page and make it, you'll need to use the little eye tool to hide this so that it doesn't print all this and try and cut all these pieces. And you can decide whether you want to use Julie's design. Obviously in Canada, her theme is still quite snowy. She's still experiencing very cold weather. Or if you're in Southern Hemisphere, I have got a layout down here for February pages with some summer elements, and I've actually custom designed some of the word art here. And we've also got some little icons to help dress up the page, a little snowdrift here for Julie, and I did one with some waves. So once you've decided which layout you want to use, you can use the little eye tool to hide the elements that you don't want to cut. So you are able to hide all of this section. This is grouped together, Julie's layout is grouped together, and my one's grouped together. So I'm hoping you like the hexagon theme. When I go to build this, I'll start at number 1 for the first day and work my way across and end up with the last day of February being February 28. I also did another little trick for this layout. Once I'd filled all my hexagons with my relevant temperature color, I did a screen snip and I printed it so that I would know that I'm using the dark side of Toffee, the light side of Avocado, the light side of Shortbread, and also the dark side of Shortbread. And I've also managed to get a little bit of Sundance and Nectarine there. It was quite a mild February and we stuck mainly in the 20 to 30 degree area. So I thought it would be easier for me to do a screen snip and print this out so that when it comes to lay all these hexagons down, I had it in front of me. So I'm going to clear all of this away and we're going to get into creating the left page. I'm going to do some tone-on-tone stamping with the hexagons. I was going to use the new Perfectly Imperfect stamp set, but the images aren't quite large enough to cover the entire area of the hexagon. So because that's not quite large enough, I've gone back to Splash of Colour, which is an old stamp set, and I'm using this watercolour brush type stroke here. With the cardstock, I'm using, as I said before in the introduction, I'm using light side and dark side to give me a little bit more variation. And for the dark side, I am just going to go straight in with the stamp and ink that up and cover the area. I'm not worried about which way the pattern goes. This is why I chose this stamp to do this with. I don't want to worry about when I put my hexagons down that they're all going to be in the same direction. So that gives a lovely sort of textured look. But what I'm doing for the light side, for those temperatures, is second generation stamping. So I've stamped off onto my scratch piece of paper, and then I've got a very subtle look. Now this is quite hard to see, so what I'm going to actually do is do this twice, and that will give enough of a pattern onto the light side without overpowering it with first generation stamping. So I'm hoping that picks up on camera. You can see some texture there. But I wanted to show you with the Toffee, that's the difference I'm going to get with first generation stamping on the dark side and then 2 lots of second generation stamping on the light side. So let's move on to the avocado. And I actually haven't done this one yet, so I'm going to see, because I'm using the light side, I'll show you what it looks like on the dark side. This will be the side that I will adhere to the page, but just so you can see what that looks like to give you an idea, that gives you quite a bit of texture onto the avocado. I don't want it that strong because the pattern's going to take over from the light side of the cardstock. So I'm going to do second generation, and then we'll see if I need to do another lot of second generation stamping, and I think I do. And I've got something on my stamp there that's left that little mark, but that's okay. When I put these down, some of these pieces are going to be a little bit hidden when I put the photos and the embellishments on. So I like how the texture looks with 2 lots of second generation stamping. I think I said this was Sundance before, but it's actually Nectarine. So we'll see with this one if I need to do another lot of second generation stamping with this one. So I'm going to stamp off because I'm going onto the light side of the paper. And yes, I do. That's only a very subtle amount there. Sometimes if you don't push down too much when you're going to stamp off, it will leave more ink on there and will show out. I'm liking how that looks, so I'm going to do that for my other piece of Nectarine. And that just gives just enough of a texture to it so it won't just be flat cardstock on my pages. So you can see here, this is the Sundance colour with the stamping on it. I've got Shortbread as well, and you can see this is the dark side with first generation, and this is the light side with double stamping of second generation. And it's just giving the right amount of touch to these pieces for my layouts. I'm using exactly the same font and style for my February pages that I did for my January pages. I've gone ahead and I've already adhered some of this. So the outline I've put onto the solid Glacier piece here. And then I just need to put the center parts on. And I've just got the new pickup tool and I absolutely love it. And it doesn't just work for sequins and little embellishments, it also works for paper as well. And I find this so easy to use and to be able to position things absolutely perfectly rather than putting the glue onto the piece that I'm adhering. I can put it onto the base and use the pickup tool to place it perfectly. It really is that easy to use, and it's fabulous that it picks up paper as well as sequins. So you can see how quickly those inside pieces came together on those ones that I'd left to show you. I have a wave section here that goes on the right page, and I've left the one for the left page to show you how to put that together. I'm going to use the aqua glue and just run a small amount. I don't want to beat it up too much because I don't want the paper to bubble at all. And then this lines up just under the white outline. And I'm using Carolina and Glacier for this. If you get a bit much of a bead like I did there, you can always just spread that out. And then this is lying somewhat over top of the piece that I just put down. And I'm using, in both cases for this, the light side rather than the dark side. I'm not going to get into the blue temperatures for our colours that we've chosen, but because I'm doing photos and it's summertime and some of my photos are at the beach, this is a way for me to bring the blue into my pages. I'm going to set that aside to all adhere for a bit because I want to trim those bits away. And then I have this word art piece that I want to put together. This is something that I've created in Design Space, and I've used the outline piece and a little bit of inspiration from the You Are Here collection because I wanted to put summer days. This originally, I think, had a camping type theme, but I've sliced most of that away and just kept the outline piece and then inserted summer days and these wave elements so that it fits in with the theme of my February pages. And this will layer directly on top. Sometimes it's easier to hold these pieces in your hands so that you can line them up perfectly, and then when that's in place, you can just put a block on top to hold it all. The reason why I've left that straight as a base rather than curved is because it totally depends how you place these pieces, how far down that white base piece it will go. But this is a very simple and easy case of just getting your scissors and trimming away the piece you don't want. Now that I have my embellishments all together, I've got arrows cut and some of the other arrows cut as well, I can get to and start putting the pages together. I've gone ahead and done a bit of a dry fit and followed my sketch here with how I want everything to appear. So now I can get started putting everything down. I'm not going to show you the whole entire process. I don't want you to have to sit through the whole thing of me putting all of these hexagons down, but I did want to show you how I'm starting this off. Now I've decided to cut these large tab sections out of Glacier, and I'm using the light side, and then I'm going to place these all along here, starting with the bottom row. And this is why doing something like this has made it easy for me to work out where everything should be placed. I can use the edge of the paper. So when I'm starting with something like a hexagon pattern, I always start on an edge where I can line things up rather than in the middle. And that way I know that I'm going to get things fairly straight. So I'm going to go ahead so that you don't have to watch the entire process of me putting these down. Now I haven't pressed too hard on any of these because I want to be able to tuck some of my photos underneath the hexagons. And you can see this is a part of my beach trip. My daughter took this photo of me coming up the stairs. We went for a walk. This was our very first day there, and my dress was blowing around, and she captured this photo of me, and I quite love it. I've pressed this one down a bit hard, so I'm just going to lift that off because when I'm doing this, I want to make sure that I see all of the hexagons. Even if it's only a little piece poking out, I want to have some of that colour coming through to represent the temperature of that day. I've also got a little hidden journal box that I'm going to tuck down inside here. That's also been cut on the Cricut. So everything on the page here is pretty much cut on the Cricut. I decided to do my mats with the light side of Shortbread because it just seemed to fit with my photos. And I'm going to start adhering these down. Now this one, I want to make sure that I can pull this in and out. So I'm going to use glue rather than tape runner, and I'm just going to go around the outside edge of my photo mat because I want to be able to pull that journal spot out if I decide to use that. I know Julie wanted to use a hidden journal spot. I think what I'm going to do is add in some additional photos in one of the memory protectors like I did last month as well. So I'm just going to put a block on top of that one to hold it down. And this photo here, Julie sent to me a photo while I was sitting outside in the backyard with my daughter having lunch in the sun, and she was experiencing more snow. And so I took a photo of my sky and sent it back to her, which was quite funny. Basically opposites. Now I've done some journaling on top of this, and I need to reprint this photo, but I wanted to get the video done because I'm going to put the temperature that Julie was experiencing at that same moment that she sent the photo through to me. I've decided I'm not going to put this over the top of the photo. Now I'm going to put down my title and this little wave. So I'm going to use some glue for that. So I've put some foam tape on my title, but when I put it down, I don't want the foam tape on top of this wave section. So I've just put it above there, and I haven't put any on top of the photo either because they're quite built up with the mats and the other elements. So I just want the foam tape to fit snugly sort of in the middle and have that pop up just a little bit. And then I've also got some arrows to place down as well. So I'm going to work out where I want those to go. I'm going to have one here. I was going to have one according to the sketch coming up from here, but I'm going to leave that one off because I don't want it to cover Julie's photos. So that's the cool thing about sketches. You can sketch them out and then decide later on that if they're not in the position you want them to be in, you can put them somewhere else on your layout. You don't have to stick to this sketch exactly. So I'm just going to put one here, and then I'm going to work out where I want this one to go. And you know what? I don't think I'm going to use it at all. I think I'll just keep that. I might put that on the right page. And now that the glue has dried, I'm able to put this little journal tab part in for me to journal on later. I'm going to bring in the right page. I went ahead and did that off camera. I've tucked this part down, so I'm just going to make sure that's nice and adhered. When I started putting the hexagons down for this one, I started at these three bottom ones and lined those up, and then I went up in a row like this using my T-ruler as a guide, and then I fitted in the other pieces. And I know that I've got 4 of these Glacier ones, and I do like having things in odd numbers. So what I think I might do is put this one here pointing in towards these photos. And just a little bit about these photos. We were able to go for a weekend away scrapbooking on a weekend retreat with some girls. There were just 10 of us, and it was so much fun to finally get together and hang out and do a lot of crafting. And we really enjoyed our 3 full days of non-stop chatting and crafting and hanging out together after such a long time of not seeing anyone. I've put everything together for my double page spread. I'll just show you with this little pull tab, that's where the journaling goes for this layout. I've printed it on the clear adhesive sheets, and I've actually put it on both sides because I had quite a bit to write about. I decided that I would type it up. And I recently watched one of Erin Jacobson's videos on YouTube where she did 10.5 ways to journal on a page, and she used these clear adhesive shipping label sheets, and I went and purchased myself some so that I could do this as well. And I really love how they look on a page. When I type, I tend to write more, and you could see from that little pull-out tab that I had quite a bit to say about February. I've also added some little dots that correspond with the colours of my month. They actually come from the brand new Cake Day dots. They've got some that sort of match in with the avocado, the toffee and the Sundance sort of all fits in with this, and a little bit of the Glacier to pick up these extra embellishments that I put on the page. I was going to do flip flaps to hide my journaling, but with these arrows and the embellishments that I have put on here, I decided to stick with what I've done for my January layouts, and I've brought in a memory pocket page in the 6x4 format. So you can see my photos here are trimmed to 4x4 because I was going to do the flip flaps, but that's worked out fine. I've just cut a 6x4 white daisy piece, put my photo on and put the journaling on the side of it, and I've used those same adhesive labels to do my printing on so that I could write a little bit about each photo. You can see the stamping on here. I love this stamp set. It's called All Day Every Day. It's available in the March-April current catalogue, and there's so many cute little sayings and everything that are applicable to scrapbooking, almost like a Project Life type thing, but I like them on a 12x12 layout as well. So more of this, and hashtags selfie and eating. Currently, this is where my hair was blowing all over the place when we went for a walk, and my daughter was laughing at me so much, so I took a selfie. Not something that I would normally post online or even take, but I am trying to put myself more on the pages, and it is quite hilarious how my hair is all blowing around. Currently in this set, you could have currently enjoying, watching, reading, eating, a whole lot of sayings that go with this, but I just put them onto each individual photo in the moments from there as well, and I just think it ties in quite well. And as you know, I don't always have all of my photos to share on my socials because my family like me to keep them private, and so I've got some photos that I've printed ready to put on there. The other stamp set that I've used for this is an old retired one. As a close to my heart maker, I did a business builders event and we got a special stamp set. So I thought this Everything is Better When You Bring Your Friends was appropriate for my weekend retreat away with these gorgeous girls. And I wanted to put that on there. And I matted it onto avocado because with the weather, I only had 2 pieces of avocado here. We had some very cool days in February, and I wanted to bring that into the other side of the layout. So that gave the avocado a place to go for here. And also with these little dots, there's some avocado in there as well. This stamp set also had some little hearts that I used here and here, this little heart and this little section here. So I've cut that apart just to have that piece there. So I love that I was able to use something from a very old stamp set and put it onto a scrapbooking page. This little pull here is from the border tabs. I think the tabs are still available as well, and they will cut, the thin cuts will cut something like that for you, and then you can put this for your interactive cards. And if this is still available, I will link that below along with everything else that I have used on this page. Before I go and put up the still shots from this layout and also a link to Julie's video, so you can go and watch her video on her weather pages for February, I just wanted to quickly mention that the creative design team have some fabulous news. We've been hinting at this for the last few weeks. We have a brand new monthly membership group on Facebook, and we'd love it if you would join us there. We have video classes, techniques and tutorials. We have challenges, printable handouts, and loads of ideas for scrapbookers, card makers, for people who like to use the Cricut and also for altered projects and mini albums and all sorts of offerings. Registration for the membership is open from now until the end of March, and it won't be open again for quite a few months. So if you'd like to join us there, click on the link that I will have down below in the description and check it all out. I'm loving being part of the creative design team, and I am learning so many fabulous things from all these wonderful ladies, and we have so much to offer, so I really hope that you will consider joining us there. Thank you so much for watching today. I hope you've enjoyed my February weather layouts. I'm loving doing this collaboration with Julie, and we hope to see you next time. Bye for now.